Hello, everyone, and how are you all doing? It is December 31st, 2019, New Year's Eve. So I want to wish you all Happy New Year. I want to wish you all prosperous New Year, a beautiful New Year, a year filled with wisdom, love, prosperity, kindness, everything your heart's desires. A year filled with building a close relationship with God and becoming more spiritually strong and spiritually aware. That's what I wish all of you for the new year. So I want us to talk about our past, present, and future. Now, our past, it's important because our past is why we are currently in our present. Whatever it is that you are going through right now is due to your past. Decisions you made in your past, whether positive or negative, it brings you to this moment that you're in right now. So as you're making your New Year resolution, and I know some people are just kind of stuck because I've had some people email me on just asking me, what should I do? What should I say for my New Year's resolution? I don't know what to say. I'm confused. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about our past, our present, and our future and how it all connects and ties together. 2019 for me has been a year of turbulence, I would say, for me. It was going well the first 6 months of the year, and then I accepted a job that I wouldn't say probably, that I shouldn't have accepted. When I took on this job, the job took over my life. And being that I have a ministry, I put my ministry aside. And not just my ministry, I also put my family aside for this job. So the job came first and everything else was last. Even taking care of myself was like last. So the job was just the first thing that I would think of when I wake up and what I would think of before I sleep. It didn't first start out that way. I took on the job and I thought, I would be able to have a balance and all that. And it morphed into something else. And while it was morphing into something else, I didn't consult with God the way I was supposed to. I became really, really, really relaxed. For me, when I become relaxed in my spirituality, I am more prone to bad things happening to me. Would I say bad things? But yeah, I'm more prone to like spiritual attacks and all those things like that because I am very involved with my spirituality. So a person like me is supposed to continuously have that strong spiritual backing. So I let that slip. And this job, I only had it for, I would say, like 14 weeks or so. Wasn't that long. The 14 weeks was enough to cause a lot of disaster. It was enough to set me back in many ways, spiritually and with my family and all that. Now that I have gotten myself together and I know I'll never make such a mistake again, I just know that I won't put myself in that position again. Me being spiritually vulnerable for those 14 weeks, like I said, it caused a lot of issues. Temptations came in, family relationships broken, not spending enough time with my family, just everything, things like that. That's only 14 weeks, okay? And like I've said before, it can take one I hate you to erase 100 I love yous. Something that you can build and build and build on for years or whatever it is. You spend all your time building something. Just one mistake can ruin everything. This year that we're going into 2020, this is not going to happen to anybody anymore. It's not going to happen to me, and it's not going to happen to you all of my listeners out there. We are going to even be much stronger than we were last year and the year before last. Because every year we also need to be getting better and stronger. I want to share a verse with you. Philippians chapter 3, verse 13. Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it. But one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. Okay, first of all, in order for us to forget what is behind so we can move ahead, we need to acknowledge the past. When we acknowledge the past, because that past is why we are currently in this present, we can now affect our future. That's where now you know what your New Year's resolution is going to be and your goals, what your goals need to be for next year. I can't tell you what your goal is going to be for next year. You need to have that moment with yourself, know what happened in your past while you're in your present state, and from there, you now need to set goals for your future and what you want your year to be. When you acknowledge everything in your past and why you're now here in your present, you can forget all of that so you can move forward. I know it sounds funny, like, how am I going to forget it if I'm going to acknowledge it? Do this exercise. Get a piece of paper and a pen and write your mistakes. Write down your mistakes this year and be honest with yourself, because you're the only one that's going to read it. Okay? Don't lie to yourself. You always want to be honest and truthful with yourself. Write down your mistakes that you have made this year. Let me read a verse to you. Luke 14, verse 28. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? I'll read that again. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? This is why I say you're going to write down your mistakes that you have made this year. Write it all down. Get a piece of paper and a pen and write it down. And be honest with yourself. When you write this all down, look at that list. Digest it, reflect on it. I want you to make another list of what you want your future to be, what you want from 2020. Now remember, with God, all things are possible. So go ahead and write what you want in 2020. Okay? Write what you want in 2020. When you write everything you want in 2020, you're going to take your past list. This is where now you're going to forget it. You're going to forget those things in the past and move forward. Take that past list, tear it up, put it in the garbage. Okay? Because guess what? It's the past. We've acknowledged it. We know why we are in our present situation, and we don't need that anymore because we now have acknowledged it. We're not running away from it. We've acknowledged it. We know that's our past. We know that's part of us, but it's not going to hold us back from what we need to achieve in 2020. With your future list, you're going to use that as your prayer points for the year. Okay? Your goals, that's going to be your prayer point for the year. And you're going to sow into that. You're going to work towards that. Keep that list with you. Keep it with you. so you can remind yourself. Why I say to keep it with you, because I see a lot of people are majority like visual learners. They want to hold on to something. So hold on to that list. Okay? Hold on to it. Keep it with you. Keep it where you know you're not going to forget it, okay? Now, keep it where you know even when you fall into temptation, you can go and remind yourself and say, okay, I wrote that out 8 months ago. Maybe it's now August or September 2020. You're like, everything has gone ablaze or whatever. And you need to remind yourself, you need to get back on track, because guess what? 2021 is just around the corner. But I don't want you to go through that for 2020. So that's why you need to keep it where even when you're making a mistake or you're falling into temptation or whatever, you're going to see that list and it's going to remind you, hey, bring it back. Remember December 31st, 2019, when you were making these promises to yourself and saying these are the goals that you need to achieve and all of that. Because if we want to gain something, you can't gain anything if you're not willing to give. If you want something from God, you're not willing to pray. You're not willing to fast. You're not willing to come to God. How will you receive blessings? How? Is it possible? It's not possible. So you have to be willing to keep to your goals. We find it so hard to keep to our goals that we set for ourselves. But when another person sets it for you at work and says, you have a deadline, January 18th is your deadline to make sure you write 500 pages and have it on my desk. What are you going to do? You're going to stay up all night. You're going to drink coffee all day. You're going to be sleep deprived. You're not going to eat. You're going to be stressed out. You're going to be losing weight. You're going to be losing your hair. Your blood pressure is going to be going through the roof. But guess what? You're going to do that work that they set out for you. You're probably going to finish it January 16th. But now when it comes to your personal goals, your future, what will determine your future? Whether it's getting stronger spiritually, making more money, being financially stable, being able to provide, getting the job that you want, getting the spouse that you want, having enough for your children, all of that. You push all of this aside. But 2020 is not going to be like that. It's not going to be that. 2020 is going to be your year. You are going to succeed. You are going to be financially stable. That job you want, you're going to get it. But you need to do this first. Now remember that we have a lot of plans, but God's purpose is what prevails. Everything you do, make sure that you are still on that path, that righteous path. That you're making money, know that you're not going to worship money. The dream job you're looking for, know that you're still going to have time to worship God. So this year, 2020, you will not labor in vain. I want you to remember that God loves you. Put God first in everything you do. Have a wonderful year, everyone, and Happy New Year. I hope this message touches your heart. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Share this with your friends. Thank you and God bless.